What is the best way to lose weight according to the latest science? Obviously, you have to be in a calorie restriction mode, but which approach works the best, especially in the long term? I've tried them all actually, but that's my experience. However, now we have a big meta-analysis combining a lot of randomized studies, which is great, and that's what I'd like to share with you. But today, I want to try something different. While I'm working on my English accent reduction, or Russian accent reduction, I'm going to use these two to deliver you the data in a friendly podcast-like manner, while I'm going to do all the edits, animations, and give you an extra bonus at the end. Let's go.
All right, let's dive in. Today we're tackling calorie restriction for weight management.
Oh, buckle up.
We're talking all those trendy diets. Yeah, intermittent fasting,
Yes.
time-restricted eating, you name it.
All the good stuff.
You found some research that actually compares all these methods.
Head to head.
A big new study just came out in the International Journal of Behavioral Nutrition and Physical Activity, and they compared all the popular methods.
All of them.
Now, this study was a meta-analysis, which means they crunched the data from 47 randomized controlled trials with over 3,000 people.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of data for this kind of research.
It is.
And it gave us some pretty surprising results.
Definitely some stuff we didn't expect.
So what I thought was really fascinating about this is that they looked at both the short-term and the long-term effects of these different methods.
Yeah, which isn't something we see very often.
Exactly. So
No.
get this. The winner for quick weight loss
Okay,
is not the same as the one that wins for the long-term benefits.
interesting.
So we're going to break down which method might be your perfect fit and what the downsides are and how to avoid those common pitfalls along the way.
Sounds good.
Speaking of, this research actually points out a pretty kind of scary trend.
Uh-oh.
Obesity rates have doubled in over 70 countries
Wow.
in the last 40 years.
That's a big number.
It's a huge number.
Yeah,
And we're not just talking vanity here.
right.
This is serious stuff.
Absolutely.
Heart disease,
Diabetes.
certain types of cancer.
Yeah, this isn't just about fitting into your genes. It's
Yeah.
about your health, your future.
So we really got to figure out how to manage this, right?
Absolutely. And that's where finding an effective and sustainable weight loss strategy comes in.
Right, and that's what this study was all about.
Awesome.
They dove deep into 4 main calorie restriction methods.
Okay, lay it on me.
Get ready for some acronyms.
All right, love a good acronym.
So first up, we've got CER,
CER, what's that stand for?
continuous energy restriction.
Okay, so that's basically just eating less every day.
Pretty much the classic diet approach.
Got it. What else?
Then there's STF,
STF, short term.
short-term fasting. Yeah,
So like a couple of days a week, you really cut back.
exactly. Drastically cut back on calories.
Okay, interesting.
Next up is ADF.
ADF, alternate day fasting.
You got it. Feast or famine, where you switch between eating normally and barely eating at all.
Okay, that one sounds tough.
Yep. Intense, right.
Yeah, a little bit.
And last but not least, we've got TRE.
TRE, time restricted eating, the one everyone's talking about these days.
It is super popular.
So you eat within a certain window each day.
Exactly. Like maybe you only eat between noon and 8 p.m.
Okay, so we've got our contenders, 4 different ways to restrict calories.
Right. So the big question is,
Drum roll, please.
which method took home the gold for fastest weight loss?
So in the short term, alternate day fasting, or ADF, was a clear winner for weight loss.
Okay.
ADF, we're talking an average of 3.5 kilograms.
Wow.
That's almost 8 pounds
8 pounds.
lost in just a few months.
That's pretty impressive.
It is.
What makes ADF so effective for quick weight loss?
So ADF forces your body to burn stored fat for fuel because of those extended periods of calorie restriction.
Right.
I mean, think about it. You're essentially fasting every other day.
Yeah,
It's a pretty drastic approach, which is why it yields such quick results.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling there might be some downsides to such a dramatic approach.
Oh, there are definitely some downsides.
Before everyone rushes to try ADF, let's talk about the potential drawbacks of some of these fasting methods.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so what did they find?
Well, short-term fasting, or STF, where you drastically cut calories for a couple of days each week, was linked to a significant loss of lean mass.
Wait, really? Isn't all weight loss good weight loss?
Not necessarily. Muscle is really important for a healthy metabolism.
Oh, right. Muscle burns more calories, even when you're resting.
Exactly. So if you lose muscle, your metabolism can slow down, which makes it harder to keep the weight off in the long run.
Ah, so it's like a double whammy.
Kind of. Plus, losing muscle can affect your strength and energy levels, too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Losing muscle is definitely not what we want.
No, not ideal.
Why does that happen with STF?
So it's likely due to those extended periods of low calories. When you're not eating enough, your body can start breaking down muscle tissue for energy, especially if you're not getting enough protein to support muscle growth and repair.
Right, so that's a good reminder that what we eat during our eating windows is just as important as when we eat.
Absolutely.
So did the study find any other downsides or side effects that we need to be aware of?
Yeah, so interestingly, time-restricted eating, or TRE, also showed a slight decrease in lean mass, but it was much less pronounced than with STF.
Okay.
Likely because those fasting periods aren't as long or as intense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So ADF might help us drop pounds quickly, but STF could sabotage our muscle gains.
Yeah, but there's more to consider beyond just weight loss, right?
Oh, yeah. I was just about to ask about that.
We can't forget about all those other health markers.
Right. It's not just about the number on the scale.
Exactly. But let's move on to another interesting area they looked at.
Okay. What else did they measure?
Blood sugar control.
Oh, that's important, especially with all the talk about diabetes these days.
Absolutely, and this is where TRE really stood out.
Oh, really? Time-restricted eating helped with blood sugar.
Yeah, they found that TRE showed some real promise in regulating blood sugar levels.
Wow. That's got to be good news for anyone at risk of developing type 2 diabetes.
Definitely. Okay, we've been focusing on the positive, all the potential benefits of these diets.
But let's be real, there are downsides too.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Did this study mention anything about side effects?
They did. They tracked what they called adverse events, and there were some interesting findings.
Okay, spill the tea. Did people feel awful? Were they, like, hangry all the time?
Well, you might be surprised to hear that ADF, with those longer fasting periods, actually had fewer and less intense side effects than STF.
Seriously, I would have thought the opposite.
It seems counterintuitive, but that's what the data showed. People reported things like headaches, fatigue, constipation, even some dizziness.
Okay, so not fun, but manageable maybe?
Yeah, it seems like most people could handle it.
What about the other methods? Any weird side effects?
With TRE, some people reported feeling irritable or having trouble concentrating, especially in the beginning.
That makes sense. Your body's got to adjust to a new eating pattern.
Right, and it highlights a crucial point.
What's that?
Everyone's different. What works for one person might not work for another.
So true. You got to listen to your own body.
Absolutely. Find a method that you can realistically incorporate into your life. Don't force yourself to stick with something that makes you miserable.
Yeah, if you're white knuckling it every day, you're probably not going to last very long.
Exactly. It's about finding a sustainable approach that supports both your physical and mental well-being.
I like that. But let's talk about the emotional side of things. ADF, while effective at first, was tough to sustain. People felt drained and often gained the weight back.
So the initial winner wasn't necessarily the champion for the long haul.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
Which is, kind of what we were talking about before.
Right, sustainability. You can lose weight quickly, but can you keep it off?
That's the real challenge. And that's why this study looked at weight loss over different time frames.
Smart. So they could see how each method performed over time, not just in a short burst.
Exactly. So they looked at 1 to 3 months, then 4 to 6 months, and finally 7 to 12 months.
Okay, so let's break it down. We know ADF was the top dog in the beginning, but what happened after that?
Well, between months 4 and 6, something interesting happened. Weight regain became pretty common.
Oh no, for everyone.
Yeah, across all the groups.
Yeah.
Including ADF.
So even the folks who were fasting every other day, they started putting weight back on.
It seems like the initial excitement of rapid weight loss kind of fades.
Yeah, the honeymoon phase is over.
And then the reality of maintaining those results sets in.
Makes sense. Life happens, right? It's hard to stick to anything that restrictive long term.
Exactly. And this is where we start to see TRE, that time-restricted eating, might actually be a better option.
Oh, really?
That's what it looks like. It seems like TRE is easier to, fit into your life.
It's more of a lifestyle change than a strict diet.
Right. And maybe that's why people can stick with it longer.
Interesting. So maybe instead of thinking of this as a sprint to the finish line,
We should be thinking marathon.
exactly. It's about pacing yourself, finding a rhythm you can maintain.
Love that analogy. And when we look at the final time frame, 7 to 12 months,
Okay, what happened then? Did TRE really pull ahead?
things got even more interesting. Now, we definitely need more research.
Of course.
But TRE emerged as like a potential champion for sustained weight loss.
Wow, so time-restricted eating might actually be the key to keeping the weight off long term.
It might be.
And there's a fascinating twist.
I know twist.
Yeah.
I love a good twist.
I know who doesn't.
The research suggests the key to maximizing TRE's benefits lies in syncing your eating window with your circadian rhythm. That's your body's natural sleep-wake cycle.
Whoa, hold on. So timing matters as much as what you eat.
It seems so. Eating earlier in the day when our bodies are naturally more sensitive to insulin might be the magic formula.
That makes total sense. Our bodies aren't designed to be eating 24/7. We evolved with natural cycles of fasting and feasting, and it seems like respecting those rhythms could be key to optimizing our health.
You nailed it. And that's where things get really interesting. This meta-analysis didn't just tell us what works, it gave us clues as to why. And that's the knowledge we're going to unpack even further to help you make the best fasting choices.
Okay, I'm officially hooked. Let's dive deeper into this circadian rhythm connection because I have a feeling that's where the real breakthroughs are hiding. All right, so circadian rhythms. I'm picturing this like giant biological clock inside of us ticking away, and how that impacts our eating.
Love that visual. And it's spot on. You see, our bodies, we're not just static cells, right? We operate on a 24-hour cycle driven by light and dark.
Right.
And that impacts everything from hormone production to our metabolism.
Makes sense. We've all experienced that, like energy dip and cravings, when we're out of sync.
Oh, yeah.
But how does this tie into fasting and weight loss specifically?
Such a good question. It comes down to something called insulin sensitivity.
Insulin sensitivity.
Basically, it's how well our cells respond to insulin. Insulin is that hormone that helps our body use glucose for energy.
Right.
And in the morning, we are naturally more insulin sensitive. So that means our cells are ready to use glucose efficiently, making it a great time to fuel up.
So eating earlier in the day when our insulin sensitivity is high could make TRE even more effective.
You got it. It's like working with your body's natural rhythms instead of fighting against them. And remember how we talked about ADF leading to muscle loss? Well, syncing TRE with your circadian rhythm might actually help mitigate that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Think about it this way, right? By front-loading your calories earlier in the day, you're giving your muscles time to use those nutrients for repair and growth. Plus, you're avoiding late-night eating, which has been linked to decreased insulin sensitivity and increased fat storage.
Wow, it all connects. So it's not just when you eat, but when you don't eat, right?
Exactly. And here's where things get even more exciting. There's growing evidence that aligning our eating patterns with our circadian rhythms can benefit us beyond just weight loss and blood sugar.
Okay, like what?
We're talking improved sleep, boosted energy, even enhanced cognitive function.
Okay, I'm sold. But so how do we do this?
How do we do it?
Yeah. Is it as simple as shifting our eating window earlier?
That's a great starting point.
Okay.
Aim to have your last meal at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime and start your eating window earlier in the morning. But everyone's circadian rhythm is slightly different, so it's a matter of experimentation.
Right, we're all unique. So listen to your body and adjust, basically.
Exactly. Pay attention to your energy levels, hunger cues, and sleep patterns. And remember, consistency is key. The more you align your lifestyle, the more benefits you're likely to reap.
Love that. This approach encourages us to be more in tune with our bodies, right? Instead of forcing ourselves into restrictive patterns.
Absolutely. Working with your body, not against it. And it's sparked a really interesting thought that wasn't explicitly addressed in the research.
Oh, what's that?
What about combining these methods?
Combining them, creating a hybrid approach.
Exactly. Think about it. Maybe you harness the initial weight loss power of ADF, but then transition to the sustainability and blood sugar benefits of TRE for long-term maintenance.
Ooh, I like that. Get the best of both worlds.
Right. Or maybe you modify STF to minimize lean mass loss.
That's a fascinating idea. It's like creating a customized weight loss plan, picking and choosing the elements that work best for your individual body and lifestyle.
Exactly. It's about thinking outside the box and not being afraid to experiment to find what truly works for you. This study gives us a great foundation of knowledge to build on.
It's like we're all mad scientists in the kitchen, right? Okay, I'm getting carried away.
No, I love it. It's exciting to think about all the possibilities, right?
It is. And that's what I love about these deep dives. They always leave me with more questions than answers.
Totally. So what's the biggest takeaway from all this? If you had to sum it up in one sentence.
That's a tough one.
But I think it's important, right? What do we want people to remember from this deep dive?
I think the biggest takeaway is this. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to weight loss. This study really drives home the importance of personalizing your journey.
I love that. It's about finding what works for you, not just following the latest fad diet.
Exactly. And it's about using evidence-based information to make informed choices about your health, not just relying on hype or anecdotes. So empowering. Right. Like, we don't have to be victims of our cravings or our genes.
Right. We have the power to take control of our health. It's easy to get caught up in, like, the details of each approach, right?
Yeah.
As we've been talking about all these different fasting methods.
Totally.
But I think it's important to remember that fasting at its core is about giving our bodies a break from digestion.
That's such a good point. It's not just about the hours or the days. It's about, like, that fundamental shift in our metabolic state, right?
Exactly. And that's where the real magic happens. When we give our digestive systems a rest, our bodies can focus on other important processes, like cellular repair, detoxification, even boosting our immune system.
It's like hitting the reset button, giving our bodies that chance to catch up.
Exactly. And that's why fasting has been linked to so many potential health benefits.
Right.
Improved insulin sensitivity, reduced inflammation, even enhanced brain function and longevity.
It's amazing to think that something so simple, like taking a break from eating, can have such a profound impact.
It really is.
Love it.
So as always, we encourage you to keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.
Yes. And remember, your health is a journey, not a destination. Be kind to yourself. Never stop seeking knowledge.
And on that note, we'll leave you with this final thought, food for thought, literally.
Yeah.
Happy fasting, everyone.
All right. How did you like the presentation? I think they did a pretty good job. The only thing they kind of glossed over is exercise. And exercise can help you to offset the metabolic slowdown and help to preserve your muscles. And the second big question is, what can you do to not be all that hungry when you're in a calorie deficit? And my approach to that, which worked extremely well, is to replace things, is to add more good stuff into your life. And I actually have a special video just about that, shot out of all places. It's a Burning Man. Go check it out next. Living is smart, aging is bad, and I'll see you there.